Hello. So, just touching up on art today and like the effects that art really has. Um, so, most of us with borderline personality, as I slip granola bars out of my pocket. So, most of us with borderline personality disorder have probably had a stay or two in a mental institution, and in mental institutions, a lot of people don't know this because a lot of people don't go to them. But they treat everyone the same, no matter if you're high suicide or not. Well, if you're high suicide risk, they have an entire employee designated to watching you and only you. So there's somebody there for their 8-hour shift, and their whole job is to watch what you do, watch how you eat, watch to see if you're going to groups or not. It's very structured, and it's something that if you're in a facility for too long, you can really become dependent on that type of care, because that they are there to care for you. They are there to get you snacks if you need. They're there to get you colored pencils if you need, which brings me to my next point. You don't have an individual TV. You just have a room. In your room, you are allowed clothes. Sometimes they let you have food in your room. Not a lot of places do. At least the places I've been to, they don't let you really have food in your room, just because people with eating disorders will hide food and just stuff like that. And so let's just rewind. So you check into the facility. They go through all your belongings that you're going to be checking in with, and they will pull strings out of your hoodies and out of your shorts and your pants, if you want to keep them, like wear the things while you're in treatment, just because suicide risk. They ask you. You have a kind of like a walking in interview with someone, just about what your mental state and where you're at and where you think you're at. And then within the first day of being there, you get moved around a lot. You kind of not moved around, like you have your room, but you have to talk to a caseworker. You have to see a nurse. You have to see a doctor. You have to see a psychiatrist, and then you have to figure out who kind of is in charge of your prescriptions for which nurse is yours. Like, even though you had to check in with a nurse, you have your own personal nurse. She's not just looking after you. He or she will have a small amount of patients. And so it's very structured around kind of like a team, like you have a whole team backing you. Um, I don't think institutions are a bad thing. I don't think going into a mental institution is a horrible thing at all anymore. I think, honestly, I think it is the safest, one of the safest places I've ever been. Um, there's no feeling greater than the feeling of knowing that, like, even if you did want to hurt yourself, you can't. It's like the reassurance that you will be okay. And for us with borderline, babe, can you throw me a cigarette and a lighter?
Are you doing a video?
Yeah. Can you? Thank you, babe. And a lighter. Well, that one didn't go so well. Did you see where it went?
No. Get up in front of your left foot.
Oh, thank you. Personally, my favorite part of being in an institution is coloring. So you don't have your own TV. So you really kind of have to, if you want to like do the normal things you do at home, like watch TV, veg out, you can't do that in an institution by yourself. You kind of have to go into these common rooms. So they usually have a quiet room. They have your lounge where you like usually will eat your meals, and then they have a sensory room where you kind of like just it's a really nice room filled with a bunch of nice things to touch and kind of be around and things to listen to and stuff. Um, and so this past stay in an institution, when you go in, you'll see people and you'll know instantly who kind of like what people might be battling with. You kind of can see the struggles on their faces, because if you think about this, you're in an institution. This is a place where people break down and they go to, and you're not the only one breaking down, so you feel safe just looking around and noticing, okay, everyone here is really suffering almost as bad as I'm suffering, if not worse than I'm suffering. And it's really, really nice to see that, because we're saturated in this is social media, and we're saturated with this idea that everything in everyone's life is going really well. And so when you get into an institution, you actually see people who you know automatically off back, their life isn't going that well, and that's okay. And then it makes you feel more okay, because you're like, my life isn't going that well either. And then it just kind of washes over you, and you're like, that's okay. It's okay. Like, this is all okay. This is part of the process of getting well. With that said, the last time I stayed in an institution, I think I may have made two of the greatest friends I'll possibly have. And it's really nice, because when I walked in, I literally poked my head into one of the rooms and I was like, hi. And I said hi to them. And the person who I love, she's so brilliant. She suffers from BPD as well. She looked up at me and she was like, hi, instantly. And that's when I knew. I instantly looked at her and I knew, because she mimicked me almost exact. She matched my energy exact. And a lot of us with borderline personality disorder, we have an unstable or unclear self-image. And so sometimes we will mask our emotions with this face of someone else, not our face. It's not who we are. It's not who we are, even in the slightest. And in that moment of walking in the facility, I wanted to pretend like I was the happy-go-lucky guy that a lot of people know me as. I pretended to be that person for so long that is just, it's like second nature to me to default to that form of Darian. The form who is all about people pleasing, who is all about being a showstopper. I'm deviant, but I'm also really like thoughtful, and like I make people perceive me as the boy who gets kind of everything he wants, and kind of like the sexy guy who kind of gets what he wants. But honestly, that's not who I am. That's not who I ever am. I am terrified all the time. I am feeling judged all the time by myself and by others. I don't even know how I was able to put up that facade for so long. But with that said, these two people... Oh, hi, monkey. Come here. Come here, monkey. Come on. Come on, monkey. Oh, this is my monkey. So with that said, I almost knew instantly that these two people were going to be some of the greatest friends I was going to make. And it was just a feeling of solidarity that spoke without words. And one of the things that I picked up this last stay was coloring. I love to color. I love saying the words coloring. I have started to fill this sketchbook that I've had now for about a month. I've actually started to fill the sketchbook up with all these different sketches and like doodles and things. And that time I spend doing these artistic projects are very important. Oh, are you gonna leave me, Muffin? Are you gonna leave me? Muffin's leaving. Okay. Alright, there he goes. And he's off. That time I spend doing those artistic projects is always time well spent, because I can always look back when I'm flipping through my book and I'm looking for a new page. I'm always like, oh wow, I remember when I made this and I put this type of emotion into it. Or I'm like, oh, I remember when I made this and I put this type of emotion into it. And that's what it is for me. It's literally channeling my emotion into whatever artistic piece I'm doing. And a lot of my work is really abstract. So right now, I have this. It's just super simple. This is what I just did. I feel like I'm a child showing you my coloring book. And then the other day I did something a little bit more complex, or you probably can't see it. A little bit more complex like that. And then in treatment, and then there's simple things like this. A fucking tree. Like, I'm not an artist. I'm not sitting here claiming to be the next Van Gogh or the next Picasso. But like, you can look at this and tell that a lot of emotion went into this. You can look at this and tell by looking at it that I was somewhere in myself and outside of myself that allowed me to create. And that's one really important thing about these disorders. Like, yeah, it is really tough to live with them. Yes, it is really, really hard. But at the same time, it doesn't have to always be. It's okay to fucking color. It's okay if you want to glue some tiles to a board with a nice message on it. We as adults get so stuck in thinking that we always have to act like these highly moral or highly positive moral, just really well structured characters, when really most of us are breaking down all the time, and we cover it up and we hide it and we feel shameful for it. But you know what? No, I'm done with shame. I'm done feeling guilt about wanting to color. And I'm done not giving myself the time that I need to become who I want to be. Because we all need time to figure out who we are and who we want to be. And that's important. That's just ground one important. And so art is a part of who I am now. And maybe it always has been. Maybe I just didn't know it. And who's to say my art's good? Who's to say my art's bad? Doesn't matter. What matters is that I got it out of me and I put it on that page. Just like with my journal. And I notice that I don't do both at the same time. I don't journal and sketch. It's one or the other. So, I think I'm done with that. This has been a very long video, so whoever watched the full of this, thank you. I appreciate you. Please leave a comment. Please leave a comment just letting me know what your favorite artistic outlet is.